This is the Rebel Scum Podcast. Available in video on YouTube and audio wherever you listen to your podcasts. Every week, Brock and James talk the latest rumors, news, and theories from a galaxy far, far away. Support us on Patreon for exclusive offers and join the Star Wars discussion. Patreon.com/RebelScumPodcast. Here are your hosts, Brock and James.
You're always scum. Rebel Scum.
Rebel Scum Podcast, we're finally back. Episode 295. I'm Brock.
I'm also Brock.
Oh!
Hey, you know what? 295 episodes in, and that will never get old. I'm James.
And I'm Brock, as I said before, and we are here to talk Star Wars and Star Wars related things. What a time to be alive, James. We missed last week. I know you talked to some of our patrons, so that they could get their Star Wars fix, but
I didn't. I got sick and I didn't.
Oh! Boom, 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 boom. We're both not reliable as media sources.
So yeah, we couldn't do last week because you were working. Because the Toronto Blue Jays of Toronto, they were playing at night, so we couldn't do it. So I was going to do it, and then I got sick, and my voice was going. I just wasn't feeling well, so I said I can't do this. It's all or nothing. You got to give 110%. If you don't give 110%, what's the point? And I don't think I could have made it awake. Like I had this week, I was really sick, and I had trouble getting through the episode this week, and it was a great episode.
Yeah,
I was like, oh my god, I'm struggling. I need this one to be a 20-minute episode, so we can move on. And so much was happening. And I was like, I don't know if I can retain any of this because I am near sleep right now. So I've only seen it that one time too, because I haven't been feeling well. So I haven't been able to focus on anything. But from what I saw, and correct me if I'm wrong, spoilers for the last 2 weeks of Ahsoka, but correct me if I'm wrong, Brock, but Darth Maul came back this week.
Yes, the very very black-faced Darth Maul is back because no one is dead. Like the Marvel universe, the Marvel world, no one is truly dead, not even Uncle Ben. So yeah, what a time. We haven't talked about the last two episodes, which so far are stellar. It's just like the end of last episode, so episode 5, I was like, why haven't they given him a movie yet? Why isn't Filoni making a movie? Or at least written a movie? I know he's not directing every single episode, but like, man, I mean, yeah. What was your thought? What was your initial thought after watching episode 5, which was the World Between Worlds? Was that right? Am I right? No, we ended World War II last time we talked, so there was mention.
Well, yeah, we saw that Ahsoka was in there, but we didn't see what was going to happen in there.
Yeah.
So I think it was awesome. I think it was deeper. Like I think there was more going on than we got on the surface level, if that makes sense. Like I think like we were supposed to see like if Ahsoka. I think it was meant to show, kind of showing Ahsoka what would happen maybe if her and Anakin kind of stuck by each other, because they were in scenarios that they weren't in the time frame. I thought it was I know I saw like online like Star Wars theories said like I wish they would make a live action Clone Wars show. I mean we got like 10 seasons of animated, but to that point though, I'm kind of like also like I know why. Like, I one hand is like that's stupid because we had 7-8 seasons of the animated thing. What else are you gonna do? But on the other hand, when you look at it, you're like that would be kind of awesome to get in live action, right? And so I was all in on that. I loved like we kind of talked about it a little bit through text. Hayden Christensen kind of doing like a Matt Lanter type voice in it. Like he kind of changed a little bit. He wasn't as wooden as he was in the prequels, which I always kind of thought was part of the character. That's the way the character was kind of written for in those ones. But yeah, it was a little bit more open. It was a lot of fun. Captain Rex showing up, obviously. I will say the one thing that I thought was stupid about all of it was every week we get character posters of the characters. and Captain Rex got one. And I was like, he literally just like nodded, said a word, and ran off. I was like, why is he getting a character poster? So, but I mean, like, he didn't need to be there, but he also was there, right? Like, it makes sense for Captain Rex to do that in a small role. So I thought it was great. What confuses me, and I don't know if it confuses you, is the underwater lightsaber. Like when Jason's like, I hear the lightsabers underwater. Is he hearing like them under the water, or is he hearing them like? Is he hearing them down below, but they're not actually? He thinks they're under the water because he doesn't know, but they're not underwater. They're somewhere else, but it's down below. Like I'm still trying to figure that out. And how much more Jason are we going to get? Are they going to go deep into his force sensitivity and all that? But I thought overall was great. We got a lot more Hera in that episode than I expected. I thought it was going to be like World Between Worlds heavy, and we got a lot more Hera than I thought. A lot less Sabine, but a lot more Hera than I thought.
I think it's great, and we'll probably talk about this in the next episode too. It's like they're really doing a great job of balancing giving everyone screen time to get into episode 6 yet. It's like episode 5 is an all Ahsoka episode, and then also Hera at the same time, and then episode 6 is an all Sabine episode. It's pretty cool. Like when you think about it, it's like this is a very female heavy cast.
Whoa!
Even though you wouldn't have said that about Rebels, it was a whole group, but it's just like we are like it's all female leads, and it's pretty fantastic. I mean,
yeah, you're right. I never even because Droid is a dude and Balin's a dude and Carson's Eva.
We'll get to it, but
yeah.
Like Ray Stevenson, that's his name, right? Just killing it in the show. He's just so,
rest in peace. So good in this show.
So good.
And he I don't know, every line feels like, I hate to say it, but like it feels like original trilogy delivery. Like it's like Alec Guinness, like you know what I mean? Like it's up there. You're like, oh man, like I would like Liam Neeson had that too, but I think he's even taking it like a step above that. And it could be the dialogue he's giving. He's kind of giving cheesy dialogue too, but there's just something like he. The other thing too, Brock, is with the dialogue is his reaction with the dialogue, the way he's acting for it. It's sophisticated in that as well, where he's like, it's such a shame he's passed away. Like, for more reasons than this, but like, for more reasons than what I'm saying. But like, it's like he just like totally believable in everything he's doing. I'm like, man, I would watch a spin-off of this guy in a heartbeat.
Absolutely. We're gonna get Balin Skull and Shin Hati. Hati. Thank you with an H. They're definitely gonna come in a comic book at some sort or a book. But going back to your initial question, like that is the wild part. It's like we finally, after years, get a return to World Between Worlds where we're just like, I love that Filoni he's like, I'll give it to you, but I'm not going to give you the answers. Because like after that episode, I don't feel like I know any more about it outside of like, perhaps I should apologize to Girls Between Sabers when they're talking about how this is like purgatory. I'm like, I guess. Because it's sort of like, it's never explained when you were talking to Anakin, is he alive? Or is this like, this is his spirit? Is this, we know from like the episode in Rebels that it's like, you can pull people out sort of thing. And then somehow you can go to another thing. So it's like, did someone grab Anakin out of there? Because like, I rewatched the episode of Rebels World Between Worlds, and I think I texted you, but you're probably busy. I said, you need to rewatch just that part. And it's really short when you just watch the Ahsoka and Ezra parts in that, because it's like the last thing Ezra ever hears from Ahsoka, because he pulls her out, right, from being destroyed by Vader. And then the Emperor comes into the World Between Worlds and starts chasing them. So the last thing she says to him is like, find me. And then we know that she somehow gets pulled out into somewhere else, right? So I mean, this is like all go to garbage after we talk about episode 6. So I was just like, oh, wouldn't that be interesting if somehow Ezra was able to return there and was doing stuff and like perhaps I. But anyways, that's all. But going back to what you were saying about Jason, I don't know, like it does seem like this place, I forget the planet, has completely escaped my mind, but where they had the compass with the thing, it's like it seems very attuned to the Force. So I'm like, I'm not sure if it's like, I mean, she was underwater, but then how, like where, like she falls in the water, does her body just sort of stay there and then she returns to it once she leaves? I'm not sure. And then how is he hearing it? Like,
Yeah, he heard the lightsabers specifically, right?
I mean, it could be similar to that of like when Ahsoka goes to a place and it's like, this is what happened. I can feel it through the Force. Like,
I'm not gonna lie to you, I wasn't feeling well the other night, and Girls with Sabers did a live stream, and they probably answered this question. Probably should just go rewatch that. There's probably a reason for it. I don't know. I thought it was cool. Like I like that whole episode. I thought it was neat seeing young Ahsoka running around with young Anakin. Oh, you were very excited about it. Apparently.
Like, and just like someone showed like images from Clone Wars and Rebels, and just the comparison of like, it's just like right on. Like it's so perfect. Like the costumes are perfect. The girl that plays young Ahsoka is also young Gamora, and she's
and Barbie.
And Barbie. Like I'm like, wow.
Is she young Barbie? Is she young Barbie?
No.
Well, I mean, she had the perfect trifecta, and she ruined it. She ruined it.
She gets a character name. She actually has a character.
She was running she was going for the cycle, and she was cut short because Greta Gerwig cast her incorrectly.
I was just like, wow. But yeah, that was so great. And it's like, it's so true what you said about Captain Rex. He doesn't really do anything, but like he has to be there. If you're going to show some recreation of a battle that Ahsoka and Anakin were in, like Rex has to be there.
And it's done in a way where you and I are like Rex, and like Aaron and Reham are like Clone Trooper. Like, exactly. Like it doesn't matter that it's him.
And they tell you it's like we're the battle of whatever, and then like later on this is the fall. I was not at this battle. It's like this is the fall of Mandalore. And like it's just like they keep putting. Yeah, go ahead.
But that's why when it's like they should do a live action, why don't they do a live action Clone Wars show? I'm like, that's why I'm kind of like I would watch it. Even if it's just a recreation of the cartoon, I would still be like, I'd watch it.
I mean, they're coming out, I think this month or next month with a Scott Pilgrim anime that's just like with the voices of the original cast from the movie. I'm like,
whole
why not?
Movie.
Why not?
Everyone's back. Everyone is back.
Why not?
Yeah, that's I understand why it's stupid to say let's do a Clone Wars live action, but I also think like it's also not stupid because why not? Like because the thing is, I'll guarantee you more people are watching Ahsoka than watch Clone Wars. 100%, 100%. So
I mean, we live in a world where kids think they're discovering Friends, the show Friends, and like Gilmore Girls for the first time. It's like you can trick anybody into watching whatever. So why not? I would eat that right up. I like the way they shot those like that.
Yeah.
World between world battles and stuff is so genius because there's all the misty stuff. So it's like you didn't even have to build a set per se. You just had to like blur it out and put the key like characters standing. It looks so good. It's crazy.
They shot in Zack Snyder's backyard while he was shooting the Joker stuff for
I will say though, I've come around to Jason Syndulla where it was like, I don't want you to be a Jedi, but then that he like Filoni can convince you to like pretty much anything. Where he's just like, it made sense for him to be like he's Force sensitive or he's a possible Jedi. Like I love that he's like Hera explains to Carson Teva that's like, or is it Carson or is Hu Yang where they're like, Jason has abilities.
I think it was Hu Yang saying to Carson Teva. It was great. Okay, so to that point, they've done a pretty good job of explaining why these Jedi weren't around during the original trilogy, like when they were needed. Like they're like, okay, well, Ahsoka, who knows? Ezra was couldn't escape. Like he was stuck where he with the Ninja Turtle rocks trolls from Frozen. Like he was there, and then so there's really no one. Kanan dies, so there's no one really left. I mean, Jason, whatever. Sabine wasn't a Jedi, clearly. But now they're running into the issue of the sequel trilogy. And I know we're jumping into the next episode, but like, is there a chance maybe that the Filoni Star Wars going forward all takes place in a different galaxy far, far away? We never return to the Tatooine galaxy. We stay on this other galaxy, keeping the events of what's happening. So like basically it's like the Mandoverse goes like this, and the sequel trilogy goes like this, and Mando goes like this. And they all take place at the same time, but they're this far away from each other. Do you think that's a possibility?
Maybe it'd be smart. Like
because they're stuck now. Like they've got characters that I think people are really starting to dig, and they are. I mean, they can't go much further.
With episode 5 being an amazing visual of just like what was, now episode 6 of like, oh, we're in a whole new galaxy, and here's your new cool characters and all that. It's just like everything about this show looks awesome. And now that I think about it, I didn't even think about when we're in episode 6 and Sabine's looking for, spoiler alert, Ezra. That probably wasn't real. That was probably the volume, right? They weren't actually, because she's outside. Is she actually outside? Did they shoot outside?
I'm not sure what shot the volume and what's not for half of it, to be honest. And Filoni said, the volume is good when you need it, and you don't use it when you don't need it. So it could be 50-50 for I don't even know. I think most of it's probably on the volume, but I don't even know. And you know what? I just don't try to nitpick when I watch. Also, I was kind of knocked out when I watched it, but I don't really nitpick when I watch anyway. I just kind of like go with it and whatever.
Yeah,
so
I forgot. I totally forget about it though. That's what my point is. But yeah, I mean, you watch it and you're like, yeah, we could just exist in this galaxy. That would be fine. That would be almost completely fine. And
then would it even matter?
No,
seriously, would it even matter? Because like, okay, we keep going back to Tatooine. Everybody's sick of that. Fine, but I mean, half the time when we're not on Tatooine, we're on like a new planet now anyway. Like, so why not just have a new planet, like in a new galaxy? Then you have all new planets and everything's fresh. So yeah, I don't think it would matter.
No, quite frankly, like the way that what's his face Filoni is creating, it's like I'm in. I am definitely in. Keep doing this. Please make 17 movies. No problem. But yeah, I loved it. Just trying to think what in episode 5 if there's anything that we didn't talk about. Oh, Carson Teva, fantastic. Like it's amazing watching his story. Like they're giving him more and more and more, and this is great. And then Purgles. What do you think about the Purgles or the return of the Purgles?
I like them. I think I really like them in the 6th episode when they're flying through hyperspace and you kind of see the glowing and all that. I like that. I like the Purgles. I was never a hater of the Purgles, even in Rebels. I didn't really. I feel like I'm like neutral to them. Like I like them, and it's fun to see them. Mm-hmm. And I don't know. I have no issue with her riding inside a Purgle to get to wherever the hell they're going either. It's a Purgle graveyard. I'm Ray Stevenson.
Everything Ray Stevenson's putting out, it's like I'd rather just watch him talk for like 20 minutes. Or 20 minutes, 20 hours or whatever. Like it's just like you're like, oh yeah. Like this is great. Him talking to Shin, right?
Shin Hati.
I keep wanting to say Shakti. I'm like, that's not right. Shin, talking to Shin, like all that. It's just like that's just like Filoni be like, look, we're gonna change some stuff up about Star Wars, and I'm like, those conversations I love. Yeah, just
yeah. Can we bring up episode 6 when she's like, wow, that's
let's
like
go.
When they're talking about like Sabine and Ahsoka and Ezra, and she goes, that's like why you train me. He goes, no, I trained you to be something else. I was like, what? Was that like just a mercenary, or is there something deeper there? Because I feel like Balin's on his own side quest in all of this. I don't think he really cares for Thrawn so much. I don't know what his end game is, but I feel like there's something more to Balin than meets the eye. And I'm wondering if you think that line was more just like train her to be a mercenary or train her to be something else.
And then of course, like again, Filoni's writing amazing. Is like we finally get the blue man himself, like General Thrawn, and Admiral Thrawn, and he's like, General Balin, are you General Balin Scott? So I'm like, yo, like of course he would know the names. Yeah. You know everybody. Like it's just like, oh, amazing.
Yeah, the little details here that go missed by I think everybody on social media, but it's fantastic stuff. I like Mikkelsen as Thrawn. I thought he sounds just like the Rebels voice, Brock. The voice is I thought he was great. I like that he showed up and he was the exact same character as Rebels, like the exact same.
Yeah.
But what did you think of the Night Troopers?
So is that what they're called, the Night Troopers, or is that just a name they're thinking of? I
believe that is the official name.
I mean, I was like you. I took forever to finish this episode just because out of time, not kind of interest. Like I didn't finish watching it till yesterday, and like until I finally finished, I was like, when Enoch comes up with his gold mask face, I'm like, that's cool. That like all of those guys standing in a row, I'm like, this is action figures right here. And like the Enoch character, I'm like, that's Ezra. The internet got to me, and I'm like, maybe that's Ezra.
Ezra is Morok, and
yeah. Like, I love how we're not even going to address that he just turned into a smoke monster. Like,
we didn't talk about. Yeah, he was a smoke. Yeah, we did talk about that. That was the last episode we did together. We talked about that because I had read that a couple of days before online that he was going to turn into a smoke. They're like, the rumor is he's just smoke. And I was like, I'm like, what the hell? That's a weird rumor. And like, I've learned, like, I try not to read a lot of the rumor stuff for Star Wars because there's way too much accurate stuff. And that one ended up being, I didn't mean to read that. I was just like, I was laughing. I like it. I love, like, okay, can we just address the Morok thing for, maybe we did a couple weeks ago, but I thought he was a cool looking Inquisitor. Which is, and to be honest with you, when everything came out, I'm like, oh, that's a cool looking Inquisitor. And then people were like, maybe it's this person. And when here's the thing. I love like Snoke theories. I thought were a lot of fun. I think theories are a lot of fun. But the Morok thing made no sense because there was no reason given to us to believe that he was anyone special under that mask. Like we were never like hinted at like there wasn't like a line like, oh man, I hope Ezra didn't turn to the dark. Like there was no hint that anybody would be that character other than that character. Snoke's a different story because Snoke is 7 movies into a saga.
Yeah.
And he hasn't been around. Like, why is this? So that's different. But the Morok thing was weird to me that people were like, it could be this person or that person. It's like, but Starkiller doesn't exist. Why would it be Starkiller? Like, Starkiller, like, so I don't know. I just thought, theories are fun, but I think they also have to make a little bit of sense. Also.
Yeah. Like it's like, it's nice to just throw them out, but sometimes it's like, what if like Anakin comes back and then he's like, I'm gonna continue your training and then we're gonna be friends. It's like, but why? Like the story. I'm sorry. Do you want to rewrite Darth Vader? Like Darth Vader. You just want to erase that? Darth Vader. Like what? It's not a bad idea. It's like, oh, wouldn't it be fun if they did this? And I'm like, sure, but like it's just like, yeah. But I love so much where all this is going. Oh gosh, you were saying something and I had a thought in my head, but yeah. It's just great. Like it's with like subtly setting up possible venue or avenues they could go down for this series. Like wild. I loved it. Which
I don't know where it's gonna end.
Yeah, I have no idea. Like we finally see Ezra. What did you think of the Ezra reveal? I mean, it wasn't overly shocking, but
It was fine. I gotta say, I really did like the Ninja Turtle trolls from
Yes.
Frozen. Like, I really liked the Ninja Turtle trolls from Frozen. They were, you know what they were kind of like here are like because there was Ewoks and then there was Gungans, and the Gungans did not work. The Ewoks worked.
Mhm.
I think this was a correction on Gungans being cute for kids because
Yeah.
they don't really they have personalities because like the Porgs are great, but the Porgs you can't compare Porgs to Ewoks at all. They're
Yeah.
very different. But like these ones were more like the Ewoks, but they reminded me of the not hobbits from the Lord of the Rings before they're like in the Hobbit like before they're hobbits when they're like
Oh, like in
what
the
are they
TV show?
in the show when they're like, okay, we got to keep moving, and they kept moving around like that's what it kind of was.
Yeah.
I love those characters. I'm like, because at first I'm like, oh, the Rock's moving, okay, but then I was like, oh, I really enjoy this. All right, let's keep going. This is Star Wars. I like this. And then when Ezra came in, I liked it. I mean, we didn't get anything of Ezra. Here's my thing with Ezra though. Like I know Ezra, you know Ezra.
Mm-hmm.
But the common viewer has just heard the Ezra name, and I don't know if there's been enough about Ezra, like shown of Ezra, for somebody casually watching this to care that this Ezra guy showed up. Like they didn't give a reason to want to find out Ezra other than him and Sabine are like family, but they're not family. So like that's my only thing is like it feels a little like separating it from Rebels. It feels a little flat, that reveal.
Yeah.
I like Ezra. Like Ezra, my other thing with Ezra that I liked when Ezra was like playing with the dark side. Remember when we were like, Ezra might go dark? Remember there was that period of Rebels when he kills like an ATST, he like throws it off a cliff. Like it's like, oh man. But then like at the end, he's like, oh, he's just a good guy. Like what like there's gotta be a reason for Ezra beyond just having another Jedi around. And I'm curious what that's going to be and why he's needed. And it could go back to what you said about the world between worlds when Ahsoka says, find me. Maybe it ties into that. Maybe instead of him finding her, she found him or whatever. So I don't know. Those are like, but that's what I really like Ezra. I mean, I can't comment on the actor playing him because he had like a line and a half.
Yeah.
You know, like, I mean, he looked like Ezra. So I guess that's, I mean, so we'll see. Also, like, I think there's more questions at play here. Like, how did they get separated when they got there and things like that? But I mean, it was fine. There's only 2 episodes left. So I think we got to Ezra at the right time.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think there's more to the end of the story than just like, we found him and now we're going to go home. I mean, Ahsoka is coming in hot on this episode. So I feel like the action's going to start immediately in the next episode. I think Filoni gets it like right, hits the nail right on the head when he comes to like creating the desire to find out the rest of the story, where it's like, it's like, oh, shouldn't I was like, well, go if you see any space whale, if you see a space whale coming into like to destroy it, it's like okay, now go after them and like we'll send two squadrons of troopers with those. Like, shouldn't we, like the 2 Jedis, shouldn't we send more? It's like we've lost a lot in the way, so no. And then it's like Ezra might be alive, we're not sure. It's like, oh, they were probably like fighting each other while they were like, this is amazing. Like it looks so awesome. Like it's just like, I know I've said this a million times already this episode, but like it looks really good. Like this season looks really good.
It looks like Star Wars.
But like going back to Ezra, like Reham was like vaguely watching this with me. She's not caught up, so she was sort of
neither is Aaron.
She doesn't know. So, but she was like Ezra because I told her like who he is and like, oh, that's awesome. It was like, and then she's watching the scene where they're talking. Like, were they lovers? I'm like, not really. And I'm like, but.
Well, and then the hologram that she has, he says that you were like a sister to me or something too.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, brother and sister in Star Wars, that doesn't mean much. Doesn't mean much.
This is
how are you with the casting? You like the cast of everybody cast?
Oh,
Brock approved on the casting. I think Balin could have been cast a little bit better. You could have got like.
I mean, the actor that plays Ezra, like he hasn't had his time yet. And you're right, it is kind of
he's too early. Yeah,
he like you see a small hologram of him with like no beard and short hair. So I don't think any regular viewer would be like, oh, but like even like the Thrawn and the Ezra reveal weren't that like it's just sort of I mean and I think that's done in intention because it's like this is not the crucial thing and like we're just revealing for the non-Rebels viewers like this is the characters.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is like these are, and again, I think that's another thing where I think if this were like a movie, I think these non-reveals would play even is how they should play out. Because if you're watching all at once, like these aren't characters that exist in live action Star Wars.
Yeah,
they don't exist
now. They do
now. They do, but they didn't. But they didn't exist coming in. You know what I mean? Like Reham watching it, these characters don't exist to her.
Yeah,
they don't exist to her yet. So a big reveal, she'd be like, why are the fireworks for this character? But now they're in. So the next time you could do like now they exist to everybody.
The Thrawn looks so good too. Sorry to deviate to another thing, but it's like in certain lights you can see the ridges in his forehead that were prominent in the cartoon. I'm like, amazing, and like. The cold-blooded, calculated like Thrawn is still there, where he's like, we sent her out. She's allowed to go look, but we're also gonna send the two Jedi or the evil guy. I love that they still haven't revealed what Baylan and Shin are. They don't say Sith. They don't say Jedi. They're like, this is our time. I'm like, what are you? Oh, Baylan saying in this episode is like, Ezra was a Boken Jedi. I'm like. I'm sure this is a term that's already existed, but I'm like, I don't think we talked about it, but like, what's her face? Sabine doing lightsaber routines with Hu Yang. Hu Yang, and he's like saying all the forms. And I'm like, oh, James, how have we not talked about this? Where Hu Yang's like, I have all the stories about Purgles. I used to tell them to you as a youngling. He's like, do you want to hear them? No. And they're like, talk. You know what? I will hear one of these stories. And he's like, a long time ago in a galaxy far away. And I'm like,
I actually tweeted out when it said that. I said, stop.
Yeah.
Because the way I also took that was, and you know how I feel about the Rise of Skywalker. I actually enjoy it, but I still believe to this day that it should have ended with R2-D2. Being shut, looking up at the stars, being shut down, and that's the final iris out. That's what I would have loved, and it should have been made for me. But I still think that would have been perfect because Lucas always said that this was like R2 telling the stories. But now, it's Hu Yang telling the stories, and I'm like, okay, I can get on board with this because I feel like keep it consistent, and I think that works there. Now he's the keeper of the stories, and he has them all, so I like that. So maybe Ahsoka will end with him looking up the skies. I would never sing out once for all. Which I still think would have been a great ending to The Rise of Skywalker.
It would. It makes sense, you know. So I was just like, this is like Filoni being like, let's put all the things you talk about on the internet, but we do it my way. Like, so great. And
he learned from the creator of it all. Like it's like he's the closest thing we have to George Lucas's brain in Star Wars right now.
Yeah.
Like when you work with George Lucas for however many years he worked with him on. And he like, I think the thing is, there's a time. Okay, there's time, sure, but there's also what they worked on in that time too. They worked on Mortis, right? They worked on things like that, where I'm sure George Lucas said way more than what we were shown. Like there was information, tidbits given to Filoni and whoever else was in the room that he can use now going forward. And I can't wait till Filoni's movie when it's all about midi-chlorians.
Midi-chlorians, man. I don't hate the concept of midi-chlorians. It's just like they didn't really fully get into it, but I don't know.
Midi-chlorians. I don't know. Do you have to get into it? They're just like, it what gives a. You know what? The other thing too is people are like arguing like everybody's force sensitive, which I kind of, it does annoy me when everybody's force sensitive, but the force. Right from the very first time we're told about the force, like it flows through everyone, but it's whether or not you can tap into it, right? Whether or not you can feel it and tap into it. That's how you become a Jedi and force sensitive. So I have no issue with Sabine. I love that they keep teasing Sabine using the Force. Like season's good. The season's good. Yeah, like this one, I'm like, oh, she's finally gonna do it. Oh no, that's a Star Destroyer. Like at some point, she's gonna use it. Like I think it'll be the last shot of the season, maybe, but she's gonna use it. But I love that they keep teasing it. I'm okay with her being Force sensitive and being trained in it because that's how the Force works. And there's and it's weird though when like people complain like because Rey. Like I like when Rey was nobody and she had the Force. Well, how is this any different, really?
Yeah.
Like I mean, like this is less different. I would argue. Like I have no like the Rey thing. I don't have a problem with. I just that's people's comments on it. So I don't know. I think they're doing it in the right way too, where it's not like she's like she doesn't think she's Force sensitive, but Kanan told us in Rebels, and Ahsoka's telling us the Force is in her. She just has to use it.
Yeah,
and she's not able to use it yet. So we're kind of like. They're working in that direction. She's going to use it by the end of the season, 100%.
Yeah,
but we're not there yet. So I kind of like those teases that we're getting, and the character arc, that character development also.
It's like thinking about the planet that they're on, where Ezra's at. I know there's a name, but I can't remember. It's like the dark sister, shadow mothers, dark mother. What are they?
They added witches to Star Wars, like officially added.
Yeah. That was great. They look like it's so good. But anyways, that new planet that they're on to look for Ezra, it's like because it's all like grassy hillsides, and like then there's these like turtle turtle creatures that are rock, and then like the wolf thing that the howler that Sabine rides. And then there's these dudes that are like they're the marauders or whatever that will attack you that sound exactly like Tusken Raiders, but they're all red. I was like, this is like what it looked like watching the Willow show. Like the quality and like the like sort of fantasy look to it. I'm like, oh, this is Willow. This is Willow 2.0.
That thing that Sabine wrote was 100% like from Willow or Never Ending Story or something.
Yes, Never Ending Story is perfect.
That's totally what vibes I got out of that too. Yeah, loved it.
Fantastic. It's just it blows your mind where you're like, it feels like a totally different show, but it still works with all the other episodes. Like the first 2 episodes, you were somewhere else, and it was just like, whoa. I mean, it's great because it's like. Yeah, why was one episode 50 minutes? One episode was 40 minutes. I'm like, no, it's a logical breakup of what the story entails.
Yeah.
Like, this is definitely going to give Mandalorian its run for its money on best Star Wars show. Maybe I think it's hard to say because Mandalorian has a lot of story already set up, but like,
you know what? I'm thinking. Sorry to cut you off.
No, it's okay.
I'm thinking our Thanksgiving show, we'll do like a top 5 Star Wars TV shows, but we won't. But here's the problem though, because I've been thinking about it. I want to talk to you about it, and I'll do it right now while we're recording. But I'm thinking we just do first season, like top 5 first, because this is the thing with the Mandalorian. And now I love season 3, and I'm like Boba Fett, 1 of 7. But like Mandalorian has had 3, everything else has had 1. So it's like it's almost not fair to compare going forward because the second season of Mandalorian was like it's the best, but is it the best because it had the first season? So I think you have to do the first seasons only. And also like TV shows always have one season that kind of sucks and they kind of lose their way and then they find their way. So there's a lot like it's tough to compare 3-season show versus a 1-season show. Also a 1-season show right now with Ahsoka that's not even finished yet.
Yeah, that's the thing. You're really that's a really good point. Plus, we're lazy, so once they get more seasons, we can do this again. It's just wild. It's like keep making shows. I'm not saying don't stop making shows, but if you can make these TV shows look like this, what can you do with a movie? Like you could easily shoot a movie in the same environment of whatever you're doing with Mando and Ahsoka, and it'll look great. Like just the art direction looks so. It's like Doug Chang's like, I want this to be as good as I make it on my paintings. Or I know it's not just him, but you know what I mean. Like it's like, like these are shows where I'm like, I gotta buy the art book for this. Like it's fantastic. We are like shills for Star Wars, where I'm like, I'm in right away. Obi-Wan wasn't as great. I'll still watch it, and there's things I liked about it.
And there are people who think Obi-Wan is the best one. So
Yeah.
I mean, what is it? Look, I've mostly liked all of the Star Wars too, because it's Star Wars, and that's what I'm here for, right? It's Star Wars, and I don't know. You can argue, love, hate, whatever you want. Whatever. We're getting it. Like it's not like we're not getting Star Wars. We're gonna keep getting it. So if you don't like it, you're gonna get something else that you can either like or hate. Or if you're really bitter, just move on at this point. That's I don't know. But I'm enjoying everything they've handed to us. I would say for me, Obi-Wan is probably the weakest of all the shows too, just because of I you know what? It's hard to it's like I liked Obi-Wan though, but again, why wasn't it just a movie? Like it should have just been a movie. That's my thing with Obi-Wan. Is like, why is it? And it's not just Obi-Wan. There are so many limited series nowadays, Brock, that I'm just like, why wasn't this just a movie? Why is this 8 hours when it could have been like 2 hours top? Like this is like there's not enough going on here. You could have made this into a movie and I could be done with it like a week ago. But instead, you're dragging it out for 6 weeks. And it's not just Obi-Wan. There's so many shows that are like that now. Those limited series. And it's just like, oh my God, you're dragging this crap. But, I keep subscribing.
I just know that, like, it's just like the shows get better and better. And it's like, it's probably too late to make any changes now with like what they've done with Ahsoka. But it's like, I'm sure like Acolyte, once it comes out, I'm like, it's going to look awesome.
I forgot about the Acolyte. Yeah. And that was like my most anticipated one. I can't wait for it. Skeleton Crew might come out. We got so much Star Wars coming up. The Wazoo, Kathleen Kennedy. Oh, hold on, Brock. Hey. Okay. I'll let him know. Brock, I just wanted to let you know that KK was fired.
We did it right.
Kathleen Kennedy. We did it.
We did it. I just gotta remember to point at the light switch.
I always go to the left. I don't know why we just.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
We don't rehearse anything.
But she was just fired. So Indiana Jones 6 is coming out. All right.
God bless Harrison Ford, but like they just need to retire that whole franchise. Like
I love that he's like, when I die, he dies. I'm like, wow, that's I'm sure that's not true because they'll milk it. Like once he died, they'll give like 3 years and they'll get someone else to play him.
Yeah, absolutely.
100%. And it will be like a terrible casting choice. All right, never tell me the odds.
Never tell me the odds.
Brought to us by Patreon.
Boom. If you like what we do, why don't you go down to patreon.com/Rebel Scum Podcast and go and support us so that we can occasionally do an episode every week. No, we will try our best. But we love Star Wars, and if you love Star Wars, then this is the place for you. So go on down to Rebel Scum Podcast. Patreon.com/Rebel Scum Podcast and support us and become one of the wonderful few that we shout out every episode. People like Heidi Feder, executive producer, Barry Brophy, Dennis Allen, Randy Kenobi, Mary Kristen Aton, Jeff Wilson, Phil Staniforth, Rez,
Scott D, Josh Price, Matt W, Frank Perkins, Neil Lowry, Cosmic Girl 02, Gleek Play 1, Disney Duzzy, Charlotte, Den of Nerds, and Dale Erdman.
I was reading the list off of like I opened our little rundown sheet in front of you, so I couldn't see what you're doing. So I went back when it was your turn, and all you see is your phone out like this. Like
reading
production value. I memorize all the Holo News.
I could have put it on the thing, but I didn't. By the way, Brock.
Capeside Bay.
Did you get your copy yet?
No, I haven't emailed that person yet. Capeside Bay.
Look, it vanishes.
Oh.
If you don't go out with Marty McFly's mom, it disappears. Oh no, Marty! It's your kids, Marty.
The kids.
You got fired by fax. Also, can I give a shout out to my wife Erin's Candle Company?
My wife.
Oh my God, Brock! This is roasted espresso.
Nice.
Oh my god, this fall scents are out on Limelight Co. I don't know what.
Get lit, fam. Go to Limelight Candles. Limelight Candles Co. Is that what you said, or just Limelight Co?
Limelight Lymelite.
Hit them up on all the socials.
Yo, I'm a big pumpkin spice
Ooh.
Jawa. Oh my god, this is pumpkin caramel, but it's just pumpkin spice. I'm telling you right now. She gave me this one. I'm gonna burn the heck out of this. 30 hours burn. I'm gonna have this burnt by the end of the day.
You know, as men, we didn't realize that we needed to have candles around till we got married, but it's true. It changes your life. You're like, it smells like cookies in here.
So she like makes these candles. So like all the time there's candles burning. And the other day I'm like, why does it smell like Christmas? She goes, oh, I'm working on my Christmas collection. I'm like, well, it smells like Christmas. I want presents. Like it was, but this is pumpkin spice. She made me an eggnog one last year. I don't think she sells it to the public because I'm pretty sure I'm the only one that liked it when she did like this. But these are great. These are like this is a cement. She made this cement vessel that it's in.
Oh, cool.
That's cement. So she's made the cement ones herself. The tins she did not make, but the company that makes these tins has stopped selling them in Canada. So they're very limited. Yeah, because Canada, Brock, is being run to the ground by our government. Apparently, they're like there's some new like law, and they're like we don't like it, so we're out.
Can you get it in the States?
You can get it in the States, but not her can. But you can buy her candles online. Thanks for everybody that has purchased. There have been a few Rebel Scum supporters that have reached out for candles. So thanks so much, guys. Anyway, I don't know why I did it during Never Tell Me the Odds.
Give us your money. Give us all of your money. Buy a book. Buy a candle.
But the book is like literally it's like if Jaws and Close Encounters made love and they had a baby.
If you like a story about a town, a quiet, idle town, like a Stars Hollow town that has a dark secret.
Yeah, if you're just figuring out Gilmore Girls, this is what you want to read. Actually, at Selena's birthday, one of the guests came over while I was getting a bunny face painted on my face. He came over to get his face painted, and he said, "I'm reading your book. It reminds me of Stephen King." I'm like, "That's hilarious. I've read The Mist." Never tell me the odds. Never tell me the odds. Snoke or Palpatine will get mentioned. Snoke or Palpatine, one or the other, will get mentioned in the next 2 episodes.
Ooh. I'm usually against this, but having watched that episode of The World Between Worlds where the Emperor walks in, I'm like, I need to know more. I need to know how he knows about this, but I don't know if we're going to return to that. I'm going to say, because it's Thrawn, I'm going to go 75%. He's going to mention Palpatine at least. Snoke would be interesting too.
Yeah, I think if it's going to be one of the other, it would be Palpatine. I feel like the reason why I put Snoke in there, though, is because I know he's like a crappy little clone, like kind of shoved in a tube but I want more. I want to learn more about Snoke because this is a supposedly big, powerful character that has been around Ben Solo since he was in the womb. And like we get nothing from we get no information. He's running this thing. Like I want more Snoke. It'd kind of be cool if Thrawn was Snoke. I'm gonna go 53% that Palpatine will get mentioned. Number 2, never tell me the odds. Balin was actually searching for Ezra himself. Balin was searching for Ezra.
That would be a twist. I don't know if I like it though. I'm gonna go 45%. It is truly sad that we only get 2 more episodes of Balin. And probably the best character in the show, I think. If I'm being honest.
Yeah, I don't think there's any question about him. I honestly think it's a marriage of the character and the actor playing the character. Like I think if it's somebody else, like a weaker actor, I don't think we're as drawn to this character. He's just he's bringing his A game to it.
Fantastic beard. Fantastic beard.
Aaron won't let me grow mine, but I'm telling you, I could rival it for Halloween. Dude, I could not rival. I could not rival that beard. And our final ad today, The Bendu will appear. The Bendu will appear.
I hope so. Because if you've listened to this show, I love the Bendu character. And like adding all the Night Sisters, that's what it is. Night Sisters into this whole like this Force lore and stuff. Like it would make sense. It's like if Ahsoka season 2 has nothing to do with this current story somehow, her exploring that would be fantastic. Getting in more into the Force. Yeah. I don't know. But will they appear? Will the Bendu appear? That's the question.
Yeah.
It's Filoni.
Never tell me the odds.
Like Filoni is a wild card, so I'm gonna go 51%. I'm not gonna go. No, you know what? Screw it. I'm gonna go full Brock. There we go. I forgot what the rules of full Brock were.
Yeah, I'm going full Brock as well because it would make no sense, but that's when Filoni does it. And we're on like a planet where it would kind of make sense for the Bendu to show up. So, yeah, I'm all in on the Bendu, the one in the middle.
I'm gonna rewatch that episode. I really am disappointed in myself. I didn't finish rewatching Rebels before Ahsoka came out. It's like so many good things from the show.
Yeah, I feel like I should have as well, but I didn't either. And then you know what? Like Ahsoka being good shouldn't be a surprise because Rebels. I still think Rebels is the best Star Wars we've gotten. Like all as well. Like the first season was okay. But then once Ahsoka shows up at the very end of that season, you're like, okay, what's going on here? And then the second season, it was just so well done. Remember the trailer before, was it Rogue One came out? That trailer for the second half of the season of Rebels when we're like, Maul's coming back. He had the laser. That was like one of the best Star Wars trailers we've gotten in a long time. It was fantastic. Yeah. So we're both full Brock on that one. All right, top 5. You don't have news,
top
right?
5. No news. No time, baby.
No time. No time to fly. You got Jays are making the playoffs. You got a lot of playoffs.
Stop talking.
They're going to win the World Series. Sunday afternoon, the sky was bright red. A beautiful sunset on the final Sunday.
Hey, if you could confirm with me that the Blue Jays would go to World Series, I would get excited about October baseball. But I'm heading into a time where I'm like, I can't be in 10 places.
Dude, I remember when I did hockey. It was like playoff time. You're like, I don't know what I'm going to be doing in 2 weeks. You don't know, right? Because you're like, I'm working here, but maybe not. And I totally know what you're saying. But anyway, World Series or bust for the Toronto Blue. I saw a TikTok or Instagram video today of an actress. What's her name? From some show. She's from Toronto, and she goes, "I was in Toronto." And then she stops. She goes, "Oh my god, Toronto."
Toronto.
No, she's like Toronto. I sound like a foreigner. She goes Toronto.
She quote switched.
She totally she went right back. It was funny. I don't know who it was. I don't think I've ever seen. Oh, she's in anyway. She was in something I've seen. Top 5 moments from the last 2 episodes. My number 5, Ninja Turtles.
I mean, yeah, they are Ninja Turtles.
I don't know what they're called yet. If they haven't, they probably do. I haven't been on Wikipedia. I like those characters a lot. I thought they were fun. They were very Star Warsy. And then I it was a slow burn to actually like them. But then once they were like, Ezra was like, we got to move. We're on the move. I was like, I like these guys. So I'm going Ninja Turtles. And I also like the new Ninja Turtle movie, Ninja Turtles.
My number 5 is going to be Rex. Just being there. I know it's an easy one and maybe lazy way to put it, but I'm like, that's sick. Live Rex. That's all we needed.
I'm okay with Rex, but if they would have done that with Hondo, I would have blown. Like I would have blown the roof off my house. Yeah, I would have been like, Hondo, Aaron, you're watching this right now. Number 4. My number 4, Night Troopers.
Yeah, I'll put that as my number 4 as well. Like the Enoch, just the look is just like they still have their armor, but they're like patching it together. So it's like they're a little different from like what do they call it? Revenant troopers, like when the troopers like Mandalorian. It's a little different. It's like those are just like dirty and we don't keep up on it. These people are like holding on to an ideal that they're patching everything up, and like it's amazing. Like so, it's like Thrawn is still in charge, and they listen to everything he says. Actually, it's kind of wild. We didn't see any Thrawn military that wasn't stormtroopers, because I guess they all stayed on the Star Destroyer. We don't see what do his like pilots look like, or like the people on the bridge, what are they wearing right now? It's not all just stormtroopers, right?
If there are even stormtroopers in there, they could be all like Morok mist for all we know.
Could you imagine?
He's dealing with the witches. Wouldn't be shocking. My number 3, Clone Wars Relived. Getting to see the Clone Wars in live action. That's my number 3. I liked it. It was a lot of fun. Anakin Skywalker is my favorite character in Star Wars. So it was nice to see Anakin back. And it was fun. The lightsaber stuff. Oh, wait, I can't go into that. Never mind.
My number 3 is going to be Paul Sung-hyun Lee's getting his time. Like, Carson, like, him was like, he's like, I can't let you go in here. It's like, you need to stand down. Or we're going to go. It's like, all right, I'll tell you why she's not here, but you're not going to like it. He come back to it. He's like explaining. It was just fantastic. I'm like, Toronto's own Mr. Kim just living his best Star Wars nerd dream. And it's just like, it's not just like, he's like the new Wedge, but better. Like, Wedge just like was there and said things on it. Like, Carson Teva is getting storylines from different directors and writers. Like, pew.
Yeah, no, I was never a huge Wedge guy. I never really cared for Wedge. And Carson Teva is way better.
Yeah.
My number 2, Balin and Shinhati.
Oh, interesting.
And then anytime they're on the screen, I'm like, anytime Balin's on the screen, I'm like, all in. That's my number 2.
My number 2 is Anakin transitioning from Vader back to Anakin as he's walking toward, like, that visual just looks awesome. And it's just like, you're like, oh yeah, Anakin's a good guy. And then you're like, right, he is also the main bad guy.
And he's like the number 1 bad guy in cinema history.
Yeah.
And, it's like, you can't forgive him for that. And my number 1 is Anakin versus Ahsoka, lightsaber fights.
Oh, yeah.
Lightsabers. Yeah, I love.
We've had more lightsaber battles in this episode, or in this season of Ahsoka, than I think all the sequel movies combined. It's just like so good.
I know. It's like by the way, I didn't put this on my list, but Sabine using her lightsaber against the.
Yes.
Like, that was so good. It was so good, and it felt I'm like, yes.
And it makes sense. Like, even if she isn't using the Force, she's also a Mandalorian warrior. So it's like, yeah, she should be able to deal with this.
Yeah, it was so good. I was like, this is perfect.
My number 1, though, is going to be Balin talking about how history just repeats itself. The Jedi fall, the Empire rises.
Yeah, so good.
Like, and just the way he delivers is like again and again and again. It's just like, wow.
And that's why I kind of think he's on a different path. It had nothing to do with Thrawn, maybe not, but it has something is going on there where because if it's Thrawn, then he's just back on that path. So we'll see what goes on.
If anything, like, this really pushes the idea of why it will always be called Star Wars, because the galaxy is so huge that you will never convince everyone to agree to the one thing. So there will always be an opposition. Yeah. So
absolutely. And Star Wars is a cool title.
Absolutely. The
Adventures of Star Killer.
Oh, man.
295 of these little episodes, Brock. 295, and it's always a good time.
Always. When we get to episode 300, we should just dress like Spartans and just do a whole 300 theme. And I'll be like, this is top 5. It'll just be that. This is Rebel Scum.
That would be amazing.
Good times.
The best times. That's the new intro. I'll have what's his name? Gerard Butler voice.
Gerard Butler.
Yeah, I'll call.
He's
Jerry.
On Cameo, right?
I'll call Jerry B, and he'll. I call him Jerry B.
Well, in Canada, we would just go to Jerry D, who is nothing like Gerard Butler, but he's Canadian.
True. Who is? Oh, Jerry B.
Jerry D.
Jerry D. Yeah, different Jerry. This is Jerry B. He's is he Australian? He's Scottish.
Scottish.
What's Gerard Butler? Who's Australian? Everyone else.
Yeah. Well, it's been a delight. We're back. We apologize for not being around. Sorry. I'm not sorry.
Yeah, I mean, life gets in the way. I got sick. You were working. It happens. 295. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. It's been a blast. Anything else you want to say, Brock?
Get James's book because he worked really, really hard and it took a long time to become a physical thing. As someone that's read the first half of it, it's an excellent read, and it's a labor of love. So seriously, go and buy it at wherever we sell books.
Friday afternoon. The sun was now directly overhead.
Nice.
All right. Thanks for watching, everyone. Like and subscribe. And Brock, you were always scum.
Rebel scum.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up on our video. As always, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Rebel Scum Podcast, for all the latest videos.